just liked being funny. I just liked clowning around, whatever that entailed. And I felt like I naturally made people laugh. It sounds like quite a conceited thing to say, but I did. I'm Stephen Hill from the That's Not Metal podcast, and I used to do stand-up comedy to quite a poor standard. So the first time I did stand-up that I actually wrote was at the Comedy Store, sold out with one of the biggest comedians in the country, sort of emceeing a night. I guess it was like X Factor for stand-up comedians, hosted by Jimmy Carr. And I just sent an email saying I've never done it before, but I'd like to do it. And they said we'll come down on this particular day and do an audition. And I went down with no material, hungover from my mate's wedding. So the fact that they then asked me to come back and like wait around, and they were going to pick 10 people to go into the final where you did a gig at the Comedy Store. And I got down to the final 10. And the third gig I did was a proper open mic, you know, room in a pub, in the middle of the pub, with just a mic stand in the corner with about 10 people. And then I realised, oh, this is different. Like, hopefully it's not all like this. Of course, 90% of comedy nights in the world are like that. I feel like if you're new, you were getting like one shot and that would be it. Also, like a lot of things, it's nepotism. It's who will stick around and drink with the promoters, and you know, who will just turn up and be busy mates with people. Doing my solo show was horrible. It was really horrible. I've never felt so like it's just me. My producer at the time was my ex-girlfriend, who's a fucking horrible cunt. And she was supposed to be producing me, but she spent all of her time getting drunk with the other show that she was producing, and just went, I'll fly your gig every other day for 15 minutes before you go on, and just left me to get on with it. Yeah, that was bad. That was really horrible. I don't find anything funny anymore. I don't find it literally hardly anything funny. I did Edinburgh in 2009 with my friend Mike Garnell, and I had like half an hour and he had half an hour, and we went up there, and I was doing another show with another comedian earlier in the day as well. I was going along trying to do other spots. You just got to like pimp yourself constantly. But on the last day of the entire run, it was Saturday, and I woke up and Mike had left. He left me without telling me. So I was in Edinburgh on my own, going, well, I have to come up with an extra half an hour of material now. It was kind of like the whole day. I had to do a spot early in the morning, and Stuart Lee had pulled out and I replaced him. So all these people turned up expecting Stuart Lee, and they got me, and they didn't know who I was, and they didn't care. And then I had to go and MC a kind of really weird night underground in this place in Edinburgh in the middle of nowhere, and it was just awful. It was MC this night with this heckly, horrible, miserable crowd, and somebody kept saying you're off Hollyoaks at me, and I wasn't. I've never been on Hollyoaks. And then I had to go and do my hour-long show, and in the end I ended up throwing the mic at an old Scottish woman and pushing the PA down the stairs, and that was the end. And then I gave up stand-up for a year. But I've taken up being a co-host with Beeves, and we do a podcast called That's Not Metal, which kind of gives us an hour and a half every week just to talk about bands that we like and review gigs that we go to, and just do really unfiltered, honest rock chat, which is what I love. Literally everything is better. Everything. And I still, funnily enough, like this whole thing being brought up, it's kind of made me want to do stand-up again. But I don't know if I'm miserable enough to be as good as I used to be. But I'll take that for sure over like being semi-decent at stand-up comedy, but living on the poverty line and being in a loveless, hate-filled relationship and not feeling like I have a career. This is much better.